So the video for this we started the solving the system of substitution. Today we're going to do system of elimination, and then we move into the real meat of the matter, which is system of equations and solving each variable. Okay, so the video before this, I had forgotten to solve this entry slip at the end of the video. While I was editing, I realized that I did do it, and I had already closed out the video. So it would be like too confusing for people. So I said, let me do it in the other part. So I'll be solving the entry slip, then we will jump into the lesson for the day. So from the previous lesson, I had suggested that you take at least 3 to 5 minutes, time yourself, and try to figure out what the last line would be. So if we know that our total is 9, and star would represent one number repeated 3 times, we would know that we're adding 3 plus 3 plus 3 to get 9. So we know one star's value is 3, right? So say 3 plus 3. And if we see that our total is 4 for the second line, and we know 3 plus 3 is 6, this could potentially be 2. So we know 3 plus 3 is 6. You take away 2, you're left with 4. So anywhere we see these things, then we will know to fill them in. So we know star is 3, sun is 2, and I can't even explain what symbol that is. I drew that symbol and I'm like, I don't even know what I drew, but yes. So we know the total for this is 12. And if this is 2, this is the same symbol twice. So we know it will be one value that we're adding twice, plus 2. So this would have to be 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So we know the value of this is 5. Okay. So we're at solving systems of elimination. Of course, we're not going to go over the whole steps for solving system of elimination. Or maybe I should do that today. Okay, so it's going to be a bit of reading, and then we're going to do some. So we know elimination is the act of removing something. This involves multiplying equations to make coefficients of one variable opposites, adding the equations to eliminate that variable, solving for the remaining variable, and substituting it back to find the other variable. Okay. Steps of solving systems of elimination. 1. Arrange equations. Make both equations in standard form. Match coefficients. So you're going to multiply one or both equations by non-zero constants so that one variable has opposite coefficients. Example would be if one has 3x, the other has to be negative 3x. You want them to be the same coefficients but different signs. 3. Eliminate variable. Add or subtract the equations to eliminate one variable. Adding opposites is generally safer to avoid sign error. 4. Solve for variable. Solve the resulting equations for the single remaining variable. And then 5. Back substitute. Substitute the variable found in step 4 into one of the original equations to find the value of the other variable. And then of course you want to do a check for solution. So you're going to the two values, the x and the y typically that you find, you're going to plug it back into one of the original equations to see if you get the answer. I drew 3 examples, so 2 of the guided practice and then 1 independent practice, and that will be that for this video. This video will be way shorter because this is preparing you for the lesson for the next video. The next video is a continuation of this which will lead us into the bigger portion of the Regents exam. Okay, so always we're asking ourselves, we want to eliminate one of our variables. Which variable would be easier to eliminate? Okay, so if we start on the y, we realize that our smallest number is 2, while our biggest number is 5. We ask ourselves, what number can I multiply by 2 to get 5? There is no possible number that you can multiply 2 to get 5. Then you're going to move on to the next variable, which is x. Again, when you don't see a number in front of a variable, that's an invisible one. So you're going to ask yourself, what can I multiply by 1 to get 3? Because 1 is my smallest number and 3 is my biggest. We know that we can multiply 3, so we put a parenthesis around the whole equation. And we know that we multiply 3 by 1, we get 3. Beautiful. We already realized that we have a positive and a negative, so we don't have to add any sign to this because they are opposite signs. Which was what we did say in the step here, that we always want them to be opposite coefficients. Okay, so the equation that we did not touch, we're not going to edit or modify. We simply rewrite it as 3x plus 5y equal -2. The first equation we're not going to edit. Okay, if you want to put on the side, you want to multiply on the side, you can, or if you want to multiply everything like this and then simply rewrite them underneath, you can. So you can say 3 times -1x is -3x. 3 times 2y is equal to 6y. And then 3 times 8 is 24. If you want to do this rough draft on the side, you can. Or if you just want to say 3 times -1 is -3x. 3 times positive 2y is positive 6y. And 3 times 8 is 24. Whichever feels more comfortable, you can. If you want to do it as this, sure. If you want to do the rough draft on the side, you know that your answers are the ones that you're going to line up under each letter. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Okay? This is what we always want to have. One of our variables having the same number but different signs. And this is the reason why. Say 3 minus 3 is 0, which will cancel out x for no. In the end, we will figure out what the value of x is, but for now, we're going to solve for y. So we're going to say 5 plus 6 is 11y. And then -2 plus 24 is 22. Again, we never want to leave a variable with a number greater than 1 or a negative sign, so we're going to divide by 11 on both sides, and always what we do on one side we have to do on the other. So it's going to be y equal 2. Good. Now we need to figure out what the value of x is, because we want to leave our answer in an x comma y form. We grab one of our original equations. I always go for the simplest one. So I'm going to say negative x plus 2y equal 8. We don't know the value of x, so we rewrite negative x plus 2. And again, the same idea as before, we're going to copy and paste. So we know the value of y is 2, 8, in, think of it as copying, you're pasting it here. We say negative x plus 2 times 2 is 4, or 8. Now we're here, we gotta combine like terms. So the only terms we can combine would be our constants, because we have no more variables in this line. So our constant distance would be positive 4 and positive 8. To move the positive 4 to the right, we're going to do the opposite sign because this is a positive. We're going to do a negative, and then 4, negative 4. Always what you do on one side, you have to do it on the next side. So what's left is negative x. 4 minus 4 is 0, so this cancels. And then 8 minus 4 is equal to 4. Again, never leave a variable with a number greater than 1 or a negative sign. So we're going to divide by negative 1 because this is a negative 1 and invisible 1 on both sides. These signs cancel and we're left with x is equal to negative 4. If you're not certain, you say 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Now we have our values for x and y. So we'll write this negative 4, comma, positive 2. And that would be your answers. Okay, we move on to number 2. Again, same idea. Look at each variable. Okay. The smallest for y is 4, my biggest is 5. What can I multiply by my smallest number to get my bigger number? Nothing. Okay, I want x. I know that this is an invisible 1. So what can I multiply by 1, my smallest number, to get my biggest number, which is 2? I know I can multiply 2 by 1 to get 2. Wonderful. I realize both x's are positives. However, 1 needs to be a negative. Always remember you need opposite coefficients. So, if both are positives and I'm able to edit this first equation, I'm going to put a negative on the 2. So, it's going to be negative 2 times 1x equals negative 2x. Negative 2 times 4y equals negative 8y. And negative 2 times 2 is equal to negative 4. So again, this is for whoever wants to do it on the side. If you can just multiply it like this and not be confused, do what is best for you. So we negative 2x minus 8y equals negative 4. And then the equation that we are not going to touch, simply rewrite it. So you always want to match your variables under each other. You don't want to have the x on this side and then the y here. You always want to match them under each other so you're able to cancel or add if needs be. Okay. So off of it, once we look at it, we know what to cancel. However, if you don't know what to cancel, let the calculator be your best friend. So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So we know we're canceling our x, solving for our y. Then we say negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3y equal negative 4 plus negative 2 is negative 6. I think I will create a small little lesson on signs. So whenever you're adding negatives, you keep the 2 negative signs, but you add the numbers. I will create a lesson on that explaining the signs. But again, for now, let the calculator be your best friend. Okay. Then we never want to leave a variable with a number greater than 1, so we have to divide by negative 3 on both sides. These will cancel, and you're left with y is equal to negative 6 divided by negative 3 is positive 2. Okay, so we know the value of y. We need to know the value of x. So we're going to look at our original equation. Grab one, any one matter. It doesn't matter which one you grab. And then you say 4y equal 2. Okay. So either one that you choose will work. We need to find x, so we got to rewrite x. So x plus 4 again. we're gonna copy and paste. Equal to, so it'll be 4 plus 4, x plus 4 times 2 is 8, equal to, we're going to combine things that look alike, so like terms. So I'm going to bring this plus 8 to the other side. X is equal to -6. Now, if I am not sure if it's -6, I'll grab my calculator. 2 minus 8 is -6. So my final answer will be x comma y, and x is -6 comma 2. And then the final one that we're going to do is one independent practice. So you have a couple questions that you can refer to. Okay, so next part to figure out the value of y, we're gonna look at one of our original equations, rewrite it, and plug in the value of x here. So I'll choose the second equation, x minus 2y equals 6. So now that you set that up, we're going to combine like terms. We don't have any more y's, but we do have two constants, so we're going to combine the constants. Here. These will cancel. How we're left with negative 2y equals 6 minus 4 is 2. Again, we never want to leave, when we're trying to solve for a variable, we never want to leave it with a number greater than 2 or in a negative state. So we have to divide by negative 2 on both sides. Again, if you have issues with your signs, let the calculator be your best friend. So say 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. So y is equal to negative 1. Then to write it in the x comma y form, you're going to say 4 comma negative 1, and that would be your final answer. Right. So I hope system of elimination was not so difficult for you. The next video that I will be uploading next Wednesday will be on systems of equation. Now, system of equation uses the same method of system of elimination, so this is a great practice for when we jump in system of equations next Wednesday. This will be a great starter for you to have. You have that background knowledge to help you next week. This is where this video will end. Next week we will go further into it. Then we will jump into the Regents question, which is one of the biggest points, or probably the biggest point on the Regents exam, which is 6 points. We will do at least 3 practice questions for that topic. Until next time, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys know when I do upload. And if you need me to go over anything else, comment down below. If you think this will help somebody, do share it with them. Bye.